A group of parents and teachers were rallying at the Ontario Legislature last night, that's Queen's Park, calling for paid sick days for all essential workers.
We're now, 11 months into the pandemic, and it's shocking that essential workers that are doing essential jobs in our communities don't have paid sick days.
I know that schools are not safe right now because they can't be safe without paid sick days, because paid sick days are an essential component of opening up our schools and lowering transmission.
The protesters want the province to back an opposition bill that would guarantee paid emergency leave. And let me tell you a little bit about this. The legislature in Ontario at Queen's Park is reconvening today. The NDP, the opposition, has a bill called Stay at Home If You're Sick. And what it is going to be arguing today, it's going to ask for unanimous consent to trigger an immediate debate on this proposed legislation. It calls for provincially legislated paid sick leave, so it calls for number of days and then additional days as well, and provincial support for the business owners to help cover the cost. So this is what is afoot when the MPPs return to Queen's Park today. They are going to be getting also a message from another group of people with a similar message to those who were at Queen's Park last night, a caravan of healthcare workers delivering a petition with tens of thousands of signatures to Queen's Park. And let us meet one of the people who's going to be taking part, helping with the organization, Dr. Amanpreet Brar. She's with us from Toronto, starting her shift as a general surgery resident, but also a member of the Decent Work and Health Network. And she's in Toronto this morning. Dr. Brar, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Now, listen, Dr. Brar, you won't be able to see this necessarily, but I'm going to bring in live pictures. Outside in Toronto, the storm rages on, and here you are, you're deciding to go ahead with the caravan despite the bad conditions for people.
That's a spirit. Like, essential workers throughout this global health crisis have been going to their jobs, putting food on our tables, working in manufacturing factories and transportation, despite having a paid sick leave. And in ways, this is sort of the challenge they face many times if they've been exposed or have mild symptoms. They're forced to go to work when they don't have paid sick leave.
So they are weathering a different kind of storm. This is just symbolic reinforcement of that, I guess. So it's too important to cancel, and you are going to be delivering a message to the Ontario government today, the government of Doug Ford. Tell me a little bit about what you are handing over today.
Yeah, so over thousands and thousands healthcare workers and workers from all sectors, temporary agency workers and manufacturing and food processing have signed a petition. We have over 30,000 signatures already. And a group of us will be meeting the members from all parties today and handing over these signatures and demanding legislation of paid sick days that have to be universal, accessible, and permanent, as well as adequate to deal this health crisis and beyond the pandemic as well.
So again, supporting what the NDP is putting forward, as I mentioned today, 7 days of paid emergency leave, 3 unpaid days of leave every year, and additional paid sick days during outbreaks. You and this group, not the first by any means to call for paid sick days. What difference do you think that would be making right now in this context of the pandemic?
Absolutely. There's been a medical organization such as Ontario Medical Association, Registered Nursing Association, just to name a few amongst many other organizations that have been calling for paid sick day leaves and really advocating for that because it impacts essential workers' lives and health on a daily basis. And we're really hoping we can continue to push this because I believe this is only going to become more and more important as we're thinking about third wave as well as vaccine delivery, because this is also going to become crucial for the uptake of vaccine amongst essential workers. As you can imagine that without paid sick leave, they might be worried about recovering from the side effects of vaccine or might be worried about getting the 2 doses of vaccine. So really, it's becoming more and more important every hour. So I think this is urgent matter that hopefully will get legislated soon.
Okay, to get them to stay home if they're unwell for any reason and not feel compelled to go to work. It's interesting, though, despite the pressure on the government, it is not really budging on this one. It says it's already, there is federal money already in place for people who need sick benefits, and it's not coming forward with anything of this nature and seems like it's not going to. Why do you think that is? Why is it not supporting this?
Yeah, so the provincial government has over and over really gone back to the CRSB, which is the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit. But what we fail to miss is that this is not a replacement for paid sick leave. And in fact, the federal government has said this in a letter to the provincial government, that this is complementary benefit to paid sick leave and does not replace paid sick leave, because CRSB cannot receive until you have missed 50% of the work week, which you can imagine that if someone feels they have been exposed or have mild symptoms or test negative, would be ineligible for. So CRSB really is not a replacement in any means, and the federal government has reinforced that in their letter. So we really need to keep pushing and really advocate for some things as basic as a paid sick leave for these workers that are putting food on our tables.
And then what is part of this bill from the NDP is a provincial support program to help business owners cover the cost, because obviously they have a stake in all of this too. What is your message to business owners who are reluctant on this point too, Dr. Brar?
We've seen the research that, in fact, that when there is paid sick leave, that it improves worker performance. And in fact, it's cost effective from the business's standpoint as well, which is why our petition has actually been supported a lot by business owners. So we're really hoping that more and more businesses will create this awareness and they'll come on board with our plan as well, that paid sick leave is a basic fundamental right as well as cost effective from the business standpoint as well.
Dr. Brar, I know you'll be joining in after your shift today. We will see. We certainly know that manufacturing and warehouse, that has been the sites, or those have been the sites of some of the major outbreaks of late. So we will see who is listening today as you deliver those tens of thousands signatures to Queen's Park. Thank you for your time this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me today.